Hey, what's up guys? Mr. Kydrex here again doing another video for you guys today. Thought it was about time I do another Godzilla figure review since I haven't done one in a while. And I figured it'd be best to do a review on a obscure figure in my collection that I don't often see get reviewed on YouTube. And it's going to be on the Banpresto Godzilla 1954. Now I had my eye on this figure for quite a long time. I used to see it a lot on eBay, mostly the black and white version. And I would see this version as well. But I mostly wanted the black and white version since I felt that one was the one that looked the most accurate to the movies. But every chance that I had the money for it, it would get sold immediately. And it wasn't long until I lost faith that I would ever get this figure at all. And then I saw this brown version going for a decent price. And I figured this could be my only other chance of getting this figure for a decent price. It may not have been the version that I wanted, but I decided to go for it anyways. And to tell you the truth, now that I have this version in hand, I think I actually like it a lot better than the black and white version. The main reason for that is because a lot of my Godzilla figures in my collection, they're all in the charcoal gray, charcoal black skin tone, and this one kind of stands out for being in the brown skin tone that the suit was allegedly said to have been. But enough of that, let's get on to the review and we'll start off with the details. This figure was released in 2002 and I believe it was sculpted by Yuji Sakai. And in my personal opinion, I think this is the best representation of the Godzilla 1954 suit in figure form. I know X Plus and other model companies have made their versions of the 1954 Godzilla, but I don't think any of them have captured the look of the Godzilla 54 suit as much as this figure does. I don't own any of those other figures to exactly say that it's spot on and that it's better than those ones, but just in my personal opinion, just by looking at this figure alone and comparing it to what I've seen in the other figures of Godzilla 54, I do think this is the best representation of that suit. I really love the head sculpt. It captures how Godzilla looked in the original film so well. You got the essential details like the heavy brows right here on top, his little ear right here on the side, details right here on his muzzle as well as his nose. The teeth aren't really individually sculpted, but they look good nonetheless. You can make out the fangs right here in the front. There's a tongue right there sculpted. I really love the eyes. Eyes capture that soulless, dead look that he had in the film. And I love how they're facing downwards like they did in the film when he was looking down at all the destruction and all the victims he was claiming while trampling through Japan. Just overall, really nice head sculpt. Here's how he looks from the other side. He looks just as intimidating and just as ferocious, especially with those eyes. I can't get over how well the eyes are captured on this figure. Now I will say from a front-on perspective, he does look a little strange given that his eyes are going in two different directions and they're not really centered. However, this is how it was on the original suit. If anything, it makes it more movie accurate to have that detail included. But as long as you don't really look at it from a front perspective, you won't really notice it. Like as long as you have him posed a certain way, he still looks cool. And you can get some really intimidating poses on how you angle him. In fact, this actually looks pretty intimidating. Like, he really does look pretty terrifying in this angle with those eyes. The details on this figure are absolutely amazing. I love the scales going down right here, which are reminiscent of the scars of survivors from the H-bomb droppings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's just really captured well in this figure. I love the bagginess right here of the neck to make it look like the suit. You can see the details right here of the dorsal plates starting to go down the neck. And they look really nicely sculpted as they get progressively bigger going down the back. These dorsal fins look really good. I love the way they're sculpted. They're nice and intricate. They really look like extensions of Godzilla's skin, especially these dorsal plates right here. Even though they're molded together, they still look really good. And overall, I just love the shape. They just look really good running down the back right here. And I love how it's also reminiscent of the suit with how they're clashing into each other and moving different directions like how it was in the film. He does have a seam line going down his back right here on both sides, but you won't really notice it unless you're looking at it really up close. But yeah, I really love these dorsal fins right here. Now if we go back here to the chest, you can see the details continue right here. He's got this kind of chest bump that he had in the original film, and I do love the folds and bends right here to make it look like a baggy suit, which how he was in the film. You can see right here you got the arms, which do appear to be a little bit bony, but nonetheless they still look good. The claws are really nicely detailed, the fingers as well. He's also got the webbed thumb right here, which was reminiscent on the original suit. You can see it's also right here on the other side. I just love the way the claws are sculpted. The musculature right here looks really good with the bicep right here. And you can see more of the bagginess. There is a seam line right here, and in fact there's actually a little bit of dust right here. But again, you won't really notice this unless you see it like really up close. From afar on your shelf, it looks really good. And the details continue as you move down to these legs. They look really massive and powerful like how it did on the original suit. The scales I think right here are a bit more prominent than they were on the body. I love how you can see these folds right here, which kind of make it look like musculature on the legs. You can see a difference in detail right here on the knees that is accurate again to the suit. Again, you are going to find some seam lines around the figure, but they're really not that noticeable or distracting. And once again, I really do love these folds going around here. Now, I did notice this when I had the figure finally in hand, that there was residue of glue right here underneath the knees. In fact, you can really see the residue from right here. In fact, I'm just noticing this now. The tail isn't even fully on the figure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to fix that. But I'm pretty sure these issues are just with my figure. I'm pretty sure all the other ones aren't like this. And they really don't distract me from the details on this figure. Even the feet are nicely sculpted. The Godzilla 1954 suit was notorious for having these massive feet. And they just look really nice, really imposing. I love the details right here, as well as on the claws. Now, I do notice that on my figure, that the toes are kind of lifting off the ground. It's like that on both feet. In fact, more so right here. I don't know if this is a detail on all of the Banpresto Godzilla 1954 figures. If it is, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure, again, this is just a deformity with my figure. And these details continue all the way down to the end of the tail. The tail is pretty long, and it's kind of in this straight pose with a little bit of curving to it, which can be problematic to some people since this is going to take a lot of space on the shelf. But honestly, I don't really have a problem with it. I still think that it makes this figure look really cool. As for the paint job on this figure, as I said before, this is the color variant, so it's got a lot more paint on it than the monochrome version. The base color on this figure is a brown vinyl. I do love the black and white in the eyes and how they're made shiny to look more realistic. The teeth are kind of like this off-white ivory color with some black added to make them stand out. The inside of the mouth is kind of like this fleshy red, and it's also painted on the roof. The dorsal plates running from his neck down to his back are this kind of off-white color with some dry brushing added on the brown accents to make the details stand out a bit more. And this goes all the way down to this part of the tail, at least on my figure. The claws on the hands are a very sandy color, as well as on the toes, and I love the way they painted it to make it look like they're growing out of Godzilla's skin. So overall, the paint job on this figure is really great. Now, unlike most of Banpresto's other Godzilla figures that came out down the line that had posability, this is one of their early figures that was made to be more like a statue. So there's no posability on this figure at all, and I think the only part that you had to connect was the tail since it came in a bag. So for those who were looking for posability, this figure isn't really meant for you, but if you collect X Plus vinyls and model kits, then this is definitely a good stand-in for a Godzilla 1954 in your collection. This is a very sizable figure. It comes out to the 9-inch, 10-inch mark, and I have a few comparisons so you can get an idea of its size. Here it is compared to the Bandai 6-inch Godzilla 1954, the Bandai 9-inch Godzilla 2001, the Bandai America 11-inch Kiryu. Here it is alongside my Medicon Maru-san Godzilla 1955, which I might do a re-review on. Here it is compared to my Banpresto Godzilla 2003, my Banpresto Godzilla 2004, and to compare it to the creation it will one day become, here it is compared to my Banpresto Kiryu 2003. And as a final comparison to what Banpresto makes nowadays, here it is compared to the Grandista Tanjiro Kamado from Demon Slayer. So overall, I really love this figure. I love its size, its details, its paint job, and it's a great representation of how Godzilla looked in the original 1954 film. I highly recommend it if you want just one Godzilla 1954 in your collection that looks movie accurate. Whether you decide between the monochrome version or the color version is up to you, but if you find at least one of these for a decent price, definitely pick it up because it's really, really worth it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be bringing some more Godzilla content on my channel as I have some reviews planned for some more obscure figures that not a lot of people do reviews of. But until then, stay awesome, guys.